Quick notice of the meeting was provided in the Cranford Chronicle, advertised January 16th, 2015. Notification was sent to the Star Ledger and promptly posted on the Municipal Public Bulletin Board, filed in the office of the Municipal Clerk, informing the public of the time and place according to the provisions of Open Public Meeting Law, Chapter 231, PL 1975. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Shall we start with Mr. Nod this evening?
Okay. Let's see, I don't have a lot for you. We have a couple of ordinances on the agenda for introduction. One is, of course, the one requested on residential preferential permit parking. We made the changes that were requested to make it clear that violations were only those that didn't have permits. And that's pretty much it. We have another ordinance. I discussed that with you last time. This is the repeal of the begging ordinance, which I think has possible problems, and that's why I recommended that we eliminate that. So those two, and I think with that, that's pretty much all I have for you.
Thank you. Is there any questions for Mr. Nod this evening?
No, ma'am.
I assume Mr. Goriello will be with us later. Yes. Our administrator is excused for this evening. She's at a conference. So we'll move on to unfinished business. The council. Any new business? Let's take a minute myself. The Union County Office of Health Management is presenting a free workshop on mold and related health issues, as well as safe cleaning procedures on May 11th, May 20th, and June the 6th. Each pre-registered household will receive a mold-free cleanup kit and moisture meter. Please contact Borough Hall for more details, locations of the workshop. I recently had the pleasure of speaking at the 6th annual Westfield-wide Health Day, co-sponsored by the United Healthcare on April 20th on behalf of the Garwood 7th grade participants. The 7th grade team was named Highway to Health as a very competitive event. Borough was notified that our 2015 hydrant flushing project will be scheduled between May 4th and June 5th. Just a reminder, we'll be conducting our annual Students in Government next Tuesday, May 5th at 7 o'clock. The next edition of the Garwood Gazette will be in the mail this week. Please take the time to update yourself on the latest borough information. Also, thanks to all the department heads who contribute their time and effort to these articles. On April the 20th, I visited the Garwood Municipal Court to familiarize myself with the court processes. All of the personnel handle themselves professionally. If you're interested in seeing this aspect of the inner workings of our court system, I suggest you visit the court night to see how things are really accomplished in Garwood. That's all part of it. Continue on comments and matters discussed with members of the council. Councilman Martin. Thank you, sir. Councilman Matthew?
Yes, Mayor, thank you very much. Just wanted to pass along a suggestion I had from one of our candidates, which I thought was really good. Putting together a walkway at the athletic field complex where people could sponsor bricks. I don't know if you've ever seen this at St. Michael's. I know they have it. You could sponsor it for yourself. You could do it in memory of a party loved one. I think something like that would be really, really nice. Maybe do that walking path right down all those auto parts or something stuck back there. We'd rather have a brick path than auto parts. But I thought that would be kind of good. We could have businesses, organizations, individuals.
That's already in the works.
Okay.
Yeah, Councilman Petrozelli
I
actually sent
actually
me
already
some.
reached out to the company who actually does it, so
Yeah.
I'm right, and we're just gonna get it done.
Go ahead and do something like that. I think that would be a fabulous idea.
We had discussed not only bricks, but maybe also benches.
Well, I mean, this company, I mean, from what I can recall from the email from a few months ago, it's not just pavers, they can actually, make you bigger stones, and as well as, make kind of like a monument area, if you wanted to do that as well, so, so we're all ready to kind of move forward with that, then we'd like to bring them in here, and, kind of get it done. And the good thing is that, we need the sand base to actually put this stuff on, and there's a lot of sand in and also, no shortage of sand that was there.
No, it's really good.
Yeah.
Mayor, if I may as well, I did bring it up to the historical committee. I don't know if that's the committee you want to work this through, but I'm more than happy to continue working with them on that item, so.
Anything else, Councilman?
Yeah, just the other thing, and I'd spoken to you about this on Mayor Saturday. I was distressed to receive a letter about the fact that our emergency plan was over 90 days due. I got a call Councilman Muir about this, and he's taking the lead on this. Again, just to offer my services and to put this on the radar screen publicly, if there's anything I can do as far as editing, researching, synthesizing, or anything to get this done, I think we really need to start putting some timelines on this. I completely agree with you, Mayor, that this has been, you've inherited this, let's put it this
Way
way.
overdue. This is our fourth emergency management director.
Amen.
And we just hired him 2 months ago, I believe, and he's on board. He's already talked to the Union County officials in emergency management, and he's done all the little things like taking the message off the machine, checking the emails. He's done all the appropriate things, so I think we're on our way.
Okay, that's great, and just don't be afraid to reach out, anything that we can do to move the process along.
Thank you.
I think that is all from my report, all from my comments, so.
Councilman Petroselli?
Nothing, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Tarantino?
Thank you, Mayor. So, as Mr. Renaud had noted, we have on the agenda tonight, ordinance 1509, which is the resident preferential permit parking ordinance. I'm gonna suggest that we table that ordinance. We have received an email from Ms. Ariema, making that suggestion that we table that ordinance. And she also had emailed us the second ordinance, with a different number on it. I don't have it, 1511, I think it was. And she had suggested that we introduce that one tonight. I'm gonna suggest we hold off on that, because what we are doing is we are notifying all the residents that are affected by this by mail, and they have not been notified yet. And I would like those residents to be notified before introduction, so that they can be here, because, you know, if you get notified after we introduce it, and then they come for second meeting, and we have suggestions, as has happened before, and then we want to amend it, we're back to introduction again. So it's better that they come before we introduce it,
Right.
hear what they have to say about it, and then if we want to change it, we can do that before we introduce it. So,
Completely agree.
I think we should hold off on both of these right now,
Thank you very much.
okay? That is all of my comments.
Thank you. Councilman Tedesco?
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one item. Councilman Petrozelli and I will be attending the Union County Freeholder meeting this Thursday on actually an unrelated matter, but also I see in the council packet that we received something from Union County that they have just created the Union County Infrastructure and Municipal Aid Grant Program, recognizing that the state has been cutting state aid, or if they're not cutting it, they're keeping it flat. Municipalities are quite strapped, so they're setting aside $1.5 million in this budget, it appears, and I'm curious to know more about it and see maybe what they have to say about it Thursday night.
And also, so you know, I've been emailing our engineer, Mr. Borough, and we're gonna be talking about him and I very soon, so get the information that you need.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Council President, you're set.
Thank you, Mayor. Two things. As you know, this past week we celebrated Earth and Arbor Days, and we were fortunate to have 2 Arbor Day ceremonies here in Garwood. On Thursday, April 24th, Mayor Lombardo and I met with the 4th grade at Lincoln School. Principal Mary Emmons read about the history of Arbor Day, and the students created a friendship tree upon which they all hung leaves. We also planted a ceremonial tree in the school grounds. On Friday, the actual Arbor Day, I met with the preschool children at the Garwood branch of the Westfield YMCA. We planted 2 trees, each in redbuds, on the south side of the playground area. The children helped fill the holes and promised to water the trees all summer. We hope the trees will grow and provide shade for the playground area. And I'd just like to thank Mary Emmons and everyone over at Lincoln School for scheduling everything. Second, for everyone's information, we have discussed the immediate redevelopment study for the Casal and Petro properties on South Avenue. And I wish to advise the public that we anticipate having the public hearing on that study at the May 27th Planning Board meeting. there will be further, announcements, and all are invited to attend. And that's it, Mayor.
Thank you.
May I ask a question on this?
Sure.
Since that seems like it will be a rather big meeting, is that something you feel council people should go to just to become aware of what is said? I know we've had those conversations before.
It always
But-
helps. It always helps, sure.
Um,
Everyone's invited. It always helps to, be in the audience.
Right.
Absolutely.
Do we need to do any kind of open public meetings act on that?
If you're only gonna go and be in the audience and not participate as a governing body, it's not necessary to
Okay.
sunshine.
Just wanna be sure.
Just keep in mind that don't be discussing as a group.
That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Goriello?
Good evening, Mayor. I really don't have much to report. We sent all the information required to DOT for the last project we bid. We're now just waiting for them to approve it and send it back.
Did you get a chance to review the infrastructure grant from the county yet?
I did not know.
Okay. I just sent the, I think I sent the application this morning, so understandable.
I'm a little slow with email.
You're talking to the wrong person. Every time I hit that button, I dread 10 to 12 coming up. Anything else?
That's all right.
Councilman?
Mayor, I have one for Mr. Boreal. Don, how are we doing on the sidewalk repair list?
I just got the list over the weekend.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's it,
yeah.
okay.
So, haven't gotten far into it yet.
Okay, that's fine, thank you.
I have one thing, Don. You spoke about the going by the underpass, the gas company was drilling those holes and they pulled up all those pavers. Anything ever come of that as far as, like, are they done making?
They haven't come back yet to do anything.
No,
Okay. Well, I'll talk to the gas company about it.
because they have the pavers kind of laid all over the place and you have to have it blacked up in there.
Anything else, Mr. Goriello? Continuing on, public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address the mayor and council? Please step to the microphone, sign in, state your name and address. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. I'll go last. Anyone on this side of the room? Mr. Patterson, would you like to join us?
Should sign something.
Good idea.
Sign it a few times too, right?
The ditto take care.
We did have a can.
Good evening, Mayor Lombardo, ladies and gentlemen of the council, Bruce Patterson, Region 5 Little Ave. Yeah, it's interesting that Councilwoman Tedesco mentions this county grant for $1.5 million. For the last, about a month and a half, and I wrote you a letter which is on the agenda. The county basically took $25 million of the taxpayers' money, buried it in their budget. There is no like line items that jump out where it is. They come back with excuses. Let me back up. I'm sure if you read all my letters, it's from the sale of Runnels Hospital, which came about last year, and they were saying that, well, Runnels was running, one year they were saying $17 million a year in operating expenses. The year before, this past year, they were saying $13 million in operating expenses. Well, they sold Runnels. $13 million in operating expenses now is a savings. They also sold Runnels, made $4 million profit. These are all their numbers, not my numbers. So anyway, so you got the $13 million, and my letter mentions that. You got the $13 million operating savings, you got the $4 million profit. You actually also then have, and this is after all the savings and profit, they raised taxes another $8 million. So you got the 13, the 4, and the 8, which totals approximately $25 million. For a month and a half now, I've been complaining to them that basically the money just disappeared. Where is our money? And I even wrote a letter to you guys a year ago saying, keep an eye on the county because something may not be right and you should actually have some kind of approval over it. I don't know if you remember that letter. Okay, so here it is. $25 million disappears and they still, and they raise taxes $8 million. I've been complaining for about a month and a half about this disappearing money, And finally they do, they come out. I guess you have to embarrass them to get them to do anything. So me pushing them about the money, now they came out with this $1.5 million infrastructure grant. And I don't recall by road exactly what it's for, but they're talking about sidewalks and intersections and community centers and $1.5 million for infrastructure goes like that. A couple of intersections, maybe a room on a community center. But anyway, so they came out with this $1.5 million grant. I guess you filled out the papers. Great. That means nothing. That's actually nothing. That's a drop in the bucket. So the question is, where is this $25 million going? And I wrote you a letter saying, please, get with the other towns if you have to, or stand up and speak. You and Lou are coming down to the freeholder meeting. Just stand up and say, where's our money? Where is the $25 million? Freeholders. Anyway, but where is the $25 million? Freeholder Hudak, the finance chair, in the Star Ledger just last Sunday, and I guess you might have seen the article, he says, oh, well, we're sitting on money and we're going to release it a little bit at a time every year to offset the taxes. Well, that is great. If you could actually look at their budget and see what line items, there is no line items that says, money set aside to offset taxes in future years. You have the contingency line item. Hasn't changed a bit. It was 20 million last year. It's 20 million this year. So obviously there's not money stashed away in contingency to offset the budget. So where is this money? Where is this money? And I've been telling them that, and it's just me. It's just a single person. I mean, the watchdogs who I support. I think for some reason they're not even saying it, but maybe I'm the only one that recognizes that there's some serious financial problems.
Could you sum up, please, Mr.?
I need you guys, I need the mayor and council, stand up for your constituents. Other towns also, thank you very much, Mike. Other towns, get together with the other towns. Find out where this money disappeared, because it's our money. It's the taxpayers' money. It's not their money, it's our money. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Actually, yes.
Please sign it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Claudia Barrios, 427 Willow.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. I just had a question regarding the, I'm very into recycling. And I don't think sometimes we have too much. And I don't always feel they pick up often enough. Any plans for reusing the lot, the old recycling pickup, drop off?
Behind the deep.
Yes.
Well, I have to say, the Streets and Roads Committee, which I happen to be the chair of right now, we are looking into and discussing recycling quite a bit these days. That's very interesting that you bring that up. It's definitely something that's on our radar. There's a question, I guess on the table, so to speak, in the committee right now, as to whether or not in our future it makes sense to open up a recycling center or not. I know recycling can be a very volatile commodity, so sometimes you can sell it and make a great profit, other times you can't. How do you deal with that fluctuation? We've been in contact with someone who works on the board and is very heavily involved over in Fanwood with the recycling center. And I've also heard mixed reviews on that one.
I'm very aware of that center. He's actually, there are issues there, he may not be able to stay open.
Right, I've heard the
He's
same.
provided a lot of funding on his own, and he doesn't really get help from
Right.
the town.
Yeah, it's actually, it's a
But
shame.
excuse me,
Mhm.
but I walked by the old lot behind the Knights of Columbus, and there's still bins there. I think that would be a perfect space. At least we have the option to drop off when we have too much at home.
Mhm.
So there are bins there, maybe you could work with a company to sometimes empty them.
Right.
I know there's a local business here, the Bush Brothers. They deal with waste and recycling. They're on South Avenue. So I just think, aside from myself, I think the residents here should have that option if they need to drop off extra recyclables. And that space is a perfect space. It's like going to waste.
Mhm.
Have you walked by there recently?
Sure.
Yes,
So, you know,
definitely.
it's still there.
Right, we store equipment and things like that, but I totally agree. I think it's a great idea, and it's definitely something that's on our radar that, unfortunately, with the Fanwood Recycling Center as sort of the example in the area, we heard a lot of really positive things about it 1-2 months ago, but as of recently, the past couple weeks, I have started hearing those negative things. But at the same hand, we have something here in Garwood, we have this space potentially.
That would be perfect.
So it's definitely on our radar. I appreciate you coming in and letting us hear your thoughts on that. It's always good to hear
It's frustrating.
people wanting to recycle more, so.
Yeah, it's frustrating, and then there's not enough space. You don't wanna have a whole bunch of garbage sitting in your yard,
Right,
and that's when extra garbage and debris brings the rodent
Rodents,
situation, which I'm trying to make people around me aware. Somehow, it's not getting through to some people.
right.
Because we're right by the water,
Mhm.
so if we can get rid of some of our extra garbage and recyclables, and I think that's a perfect space. So, thank you.
Well, that's it.
If I can answer your question. Hello, hi.
Yes.
I'm probably talking to the choir, because I think you and I are on the same page on this. Couple of quick questions. You did say recycling and garbage. Now, we're really just talking recycling, right?
I'm talking about
Okay.
recycling.
All right, and the second part, Sarah, Councilwoman Tedisco has mentioned, and Councilman Matthew and I, and Petrozelli, have all looked at different ways of looking at the recycling. And one of the things that we've learned is that Councilman Tedisco's comment is 100% on the market. It's a very volatile market. I mean, we've been advised, aside from what is it, paper and metals, they don't make money in anything. But I'm just gonna put this out there because it's something that we have to think about. The borough could potentially turn recycling around from something that costs us to at least something that breaks even, maybe something that makes profit in some alternate years or something, because there's a lot to it, but it would require the residents to actually put in time on their own, so to speak. What I mean by that is we've learned that it's very easy for the companies, for us all, to put everything we recycle into a container, plastic, metal, wood, paper, the whole bit, put it all out there, and for a company to pick it up, for them to charge us and then pick it up and take it away. But if we were to source separate, if we were to go back to the old days of paper, aluminum, plastic, et cetera, because it's source separated, there's potential for making money. But I'm really curious, and I think you and I are on the same page, so you and I would probably say go for it, but do you think the residents are willing to go back to perhaps having to do a little more work if it means
Why not?
money coming into the town?
Why not?
Well, I was just curious because,
If we're lucky enough to have our own drop-off in our own town, so people like me don't have to travel to another town or wait for the special events, why not? How hard is it to separate paper, glass, metal? And if it's too costly for the space to have those machines, there are services, companies that will pick it up for you, and then they take care of it wherever their company is. So, I think, to me, it's very important. I don't think you have to spend the extra money on the machines to compact it here. Have one of those companies pick it up. And again, I know I've spoken to the Bush Brothers. It's a waste and recycling company. They're in this town, I'm sure they can maybe work something out, if not another company.
But Bill, you're talking to someone here who takes advantage of the
Well,
different county programs.
I know that, I
have-
recognize that, right?
You have all those, drop off your electronics on this day and drop off. Not everyone
I know.
may share that opinion. I'm just saying. I think it's wonderful, but everyone may not share your
To
opinion.
me,
I do
it's
sort
a
separate.
luxury. I love going to these places to drop off. And it makes one feel good that we're disposing of things the correct way. We're trying to help our
Right.
environment and our
Definitely.
planet.
You do
And I
recycle
think-
more if you separate.
I think if you just inform everyone, give them
Well, on
information.
that particular note, information, the new Gazette will be out, as I noticed, I
Oh.
mentioned, excuse me, that will be out this week. And
Oh, great.
this from the mayor, deals with recycling potentials in Garwood in the county program. So
That's great. And I'm sure if you need any kind of funding, you're getting funding, right, for other things, just like with this new complex. I'm sure if recycling, if you were serious about recycling, maybe you can try and apply for some funding for that too. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, I do have one
Yes.
comment on this issue, because I think the public may benefit to know this. I didn't realize it until just in the past couple months doing the research on recycling. But when we actually we first bidded recycling and went with waste management years ago, we figured that it would be separated, since it always was.
Yes.
And when they came back to us, they said, oh no, we commingle, that's how we do it. And they gave the lowest bid and we went with it. But it wasn't like the council at the time actually said, we want to go from separating to commingled. We sort of, it seems like maybe just got in that corner, was a lower price, went with it. It's definitely more convenient for residents, but at the same time, now, it's always an item, I think, on the table for us to discuss, debate, and maybe one day bring up for a vote if we wanna change that, so. I think it's great to hear from the residents and hear what they really think about it.
Is there anyone else in the audience who'd like to step forward? If not, may I have,
Make a motion to adjourn, Mayor?
we have a second? All in
Second?
favor?
Aye.
7:35, please.
Sounds good.